Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of GubbaGaming. Today I'm trying out the Game Boy player for the GameCube. I've had my GameCube for at least 10 or 15 years, I believe. Maybe not that long, 10 years at least. And the version I have has the Game Boy player connected underneath. But I've never owned the actual disc that comes with the Game Boy player. The man who sold me my GameCube, he didn't know what he had. He had acquired that through, he had inherited, I believe, from a dead relative. And he had thrown away any digital discs whatsoever. And he didn't realize that that disc was needed to use the Game Boy player. But anyway, a few weeks ago, I visited my friend GG, and he had gone through his storage units and found a box of old video games, a console, some games, and also this GameCube Game Boy player. And I asked him if he wouldn't be so kind as to sell it to me, and of course he was, because he wasn't using it anyway. He had stored it away for almost 20 years, he said. So now I have it, and I just wanted to try it. I will try the most classic of games for the Game Boy, Tetris. And as I understand it, if Wikipedia can be trusted, the GameCube Game Boy player is not sort of an emulator that you attach to the machine. It's actually pretty much the same technology that you find in your regular Game Boy Advance, which means that a classic game for the original Game Boy, like Tetris, which was originally black and white, will be shown as if it was played on a Game Boy Color, like with four colors or something like that. And I'm just going to try it out and see how it works and just try to enjoy myself. I mean, Tetris is arguably one of the best games ever. So stick around and I will just boot up the system and I'll see you in a bit. Here we go. There's sort of a GameCube frame in purple, and there's the Game Boy screen in the middle. And here we see a beautiful rendition of the top of the towers from the Vasily Cathedral, I believe, in Moscow. Let's go for one player. Oh, don't you love this song? Very, very classic, in the sense that this is, to me at least, when I hear this, it's immediately connected. Oh, that's the Tetris song. Let's go for a A-type game and start at the very beginning. Here we go. And I bet many of you, just like me, are used to modern versions of Tetris where you have the ability to instantly drop the piece. Here you have to push them all the way down. You can't insta-drop them, as it's called, I believe. And also there's no way of saving a piece. But this is very classic, released in 1999. I remember a few friends who owned the Game Boy, and I had already played Tetris for the NES. They are very similar, of course, but the very first time I played Tetris was at an amusement park, and I can't for the life of me remember which, but doesn't really matter. There I played the arcade version of Tetris. Oh, not doing a very good job here, am I? Oh, finally. Let's do this. And I remember I didn't really understand how the gameplay worked when I played the arcade version of Tetris. So in one go, in one game of arcade Tetris, I managed to clear 2 lines. But I do remember that the arcade version came with Kalinka as a soundtrack. But then somebody bought Tetris for the NES and let me borrow it. And me and my friends were instantly hooked on this game. I mean, the premise is very simple, but it's ingenious in its sort of the way it's been implemented into a game. If I remember correctly, Mr. Payitsmov, or I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering his name, but he got the idea from sort of a toy where you have these pieces that you fit together, but they are made of more little blocks than 4. Every block in Tetris is made out of 4 smaller blocks. And he programmed this whilst at the Soviet Academy of Maths or something, I believe. And then it was pirated and spread to the West, and he didn't see any money. But eventually a deal was made with Elorg. I don't know the Russian for it, but it's probably short for electronic organization or something in the Soviet Union, and an American named Hank, I believe. There's a movie on Apple TV which is, of course, very dramatized to make an exciting movie, but it's quite good. But eventually Alexei moved to the West, and he is now he's one of the owners of the Tetris companies. So he and Hank, whatever his last name is, they control the copyright. If you want to make a Tetris game, you have to go through the Tetris company today. Well, as far as a Game Boy emulation goes, I think this is beautiful. It feels great for a man of my age and of my ability to see to play Game Boy on a screen this big. I'm playing on a 27-inch screen right now, and I have some Game Boy Advance games. I have obviously some original Game Boy games, and I have 1 or 2 Game Boy Color games as well. So I'm really happy that I got a hold of this copy of the Game Boy player, because the Game Boy Advance I have this beautiful golden Zelda edition. I can't use that anymore. There are different versions of that as well. It comes with light in it, but there are some that are backlit and some that are frontlit, and I can't for the life of me remember which one is the better one. But I don't have the good one. Even though there is light, it's too dim for me, and the screen is too small. If I sit beneath a reading light and have my reading spectacles on, I can probably play the original Game Boy Advance, but this is much more convenient. And also, since I don't really feel like I can use the original Game Boy anymore, I have purchased some of these games in digital format, some actually for the PlayStation, but also for the Wii U. I have recently also bought a Switch 2, and I believe you can even buy for the Nintendo 3DS as well. Maybe not anymore, maybe that used to be the case, but anyway, now I feel I can, if I find some Game Boy games that I want, I know that I can make them work on this here GameCube Game Boy player and enjoy them on a bigger screen. How about that? I was about to make a point earlier, and I believe I did as well, that that's all she wrote. Let's try again, because oh, look at that, I can type my name in. Bear with me. Almost done. Ah, look at that. Okay, let's go again. Where was I? Yeah, the Wikipedia article said that the technology is almost that of a Game Boy Advance within the Game Boy player peripheral that you connect to your GameCube. But there is also a similar device for the Super Nintendo that allows you to do the same thing, play your Game Boy cartridges on your Super Nintendo console, but the peripheral that comes for the Super Nintendo has sort of graphical enhancements as well. This one, however, does not. It displays the Game Boy game pretty much how it would look on a Game Boy Advance, with no graphical enhancements or effects or anything like that. Damn it. I haven't played... I've only played this, actually, the GameCube Game Boy player, the one time very many years ago at my friend David's house, actually, and I've never used the similar device. Sorry. I've never used the same device for the Super Nintendo, so I can't say anything about those enhanced graphics or whatnot. But I bet they are awesome, and if you find that peripheral that allows you to play Game Boy games on your Super Nintendo, go for it. The controls are a bit... they're not entirely precise. Look at me making excuses for sucking at the game. But I do feel not as bad as the original Xbox 360 controller, because the steering cross on that controller is terrible, I think. But I feel there's a similar sort of wobbly feeling to the steering cross on the GameCube as well. But I don't think that's the reason I fail at this game. I believe it's a lack of experience. But there you have another Tetris, as it's called, when you clear 4 lines in a go. And there's a very nice sound effect when you do that. And another Tetris. Hang on, brace yourself for a funny little sound effect. I believe Tetris is one of those games that you can always pick up and enjoy. Especially if you have sort of a new system, or there's a new version of Tetris out. Oh, Tetris. I like me some Tetris, and then you pick it up and just play for a bit of time, and then either you love it or you don't. But I remember the last version I really fell in love with is, of course, Tetris Effect for the next-gen systems. I believe it was first released for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and subsequently it's been released for the next-gen consoles as well, like PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X, which is your same basic game with a few twists, and the advantage of you being able to save a piece if you feel it doesn't really fit, or if you want to save your long stick, like pieces for when you can achieve a Tetris and clear 4 lines at the same time. But other than that, it's basically the same old brilliant masterpiece of a game. And you see, the way I'm playing now, I believe the sort of big hole there to the right is, I believe those are called wells, if you're a sort of using Tetris lingo. I usually go for that. I usually build them very high and wait for whenever I can do 1 or 2 Tetrises back to back. And there's something very soothing, very zen-like about this game. So this could probably be used for stress relief, don't you think so? That sound effect brings a smile to my face every time. Okay, now it's getting a bit trickier. Oh, damn it! Come on, give me a long one. There's the one I'm looking for. Thank you. A bit of breathing room is always appreciated. Oh, damn it! Okay. Oh. Okay, that's all she wrote, but not too bad. I haven't played this version of Tetris for at least 15 or 20 years, but it feels like visiting an old friend. Bear with me for a second or two. Okay, so that's the GameCube Game Boy player for you, and the classic game which was included in the original Game Boy package, I believe, Tetris. Excellent game. This felt very much like playing a Game Boy game on a GameCube with a GameCube controller, so it does what it's supposed to do, and I'm very happy that it turned out that my friend Gigi had one and he wanted to sell it to me. So thank you once again, Gigi, very much. And I'll be playing some more Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance game in the future and record myself doing so, of course. So did you enjoy this? Please leave a like and a comment below. And consider subscribing to the channel and tell all your friends and relatives about it. See you in the next video and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.